Welcome to my journey cycling from Alaska to Argentina. In this video, I ride from Zacatecas City to Guanajuato on the Trans-Mexico bikepacking route, dealing with mechanical issues, the hottest temperatures of my trip so far, and brutal climbs through the Mexican desert. Now you might be a little confused, as at the end of my last video, I was in La Paz getting ready to start the Cape Loop of the Baja Divide. Well, sadly, I have lost my laptop, along with all the footage from the Cape Loop, the ferry across to the mainland, and the following few weeks of cycling that brought me to Zacatecas City. If you want to know what happened during that time, there are some short daily videos in my Instagram, which I've linked in the description below. But for now, the YouTube series is just going to have to get started again with me leaving Zacatecas City. I've spent most of today on quiet roads, and I've just stopped by a little town tucked away inside a beautiful canyon. And I've made my way out via an incredibly steep climb. And it's already 4 p.m, but I'm going to try and push another 30 miles to the next town where I think there's some cheap accommodation available. Thanks to a combination of headwinds and some pretty rough riding, I'm definitely not going to make it to that town today. So I'm going to have to find somewhere to camp tonight. It's pretty remote out here, so I think I'll be fine. Plus, I really want to savour this section. There's some brilliant double track here. And I feel like I'm in the wild again, which is a feeling I haven't really had since I've been in mainland Mexico. Now, I found myself somewhere to camp near the edge of this canyon. It's out of sight of the road, not that I can really imagine anyone coming through at night anyway, and the views are beautiful. Oh wow, look at that. I am so grateful that I've woken up here and not in a hotel room this morning. What a beautiful place. I've run out of water, which isn't ideal, but it's just over 20 miles to the next town, and I think most of it's downhill, so I should be fine and it should be a lot of fun. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Like this. Somewhere along the way, I picked up a small hole in my rear tyre. In my rush to make it to the next town and get some water, I did a quick fix and continued on. However, the tyre kept losing pressure. But luckily I stumbled across a watering hole, the perfect place to stop, rehydrate and fix the tyre properly. Well, the water was so dirty that it literally took me about 45 minutes to filter it all. But I now have a drink and it's given time for the super glue to dry properly. So the leak on my tyre is now actually fixed. And pretty soon I wasn't the only one in the desert taking solace at the watering hole. No. I'm just battling some strong headwinds now. It's not fun at all. But when you've got nasty headwinds, you just got to remind yourself of a time when the wind was at your back, helping you out when you needed it most. Because you can't have one without the other. So when you feel yourself getting frustrated by the headwinds, just be grateful for the tailwinds you had before.
The rest of the afternoon was spent climbing a 2,000-foot mountain pass before I stopped in a small village. The only restaurant around served me some of the best tacos I've ever had, and when I asked about somewhere to stay, the lovely people there made a call, and before I knew it, I was getting a ride to a campsite out in the mountains where I got a whole dorm room to myself. Oh, and the guy that picked me up just came and gave me a beer. This gave me a chance to look over my tyre once more, only to discover a series of punctures and realise that I'd made the stupid mistake of letting the tyre run out of sealant. So I'm just going to try and super glue them, and then next time I get to a bike store, I need to get some more sealant in this tyre.
I've managed to reduce the holes in the tyre to just a slow leak, so I should be good to keep pushing forward. If all goes to plan today, I should have 50 miles of beautiful mountain riding ahead of me.
However, it didn't all go to plan. Most of my day was spent riding a few miles, re-inflating the tyre, only for it to go flat again a few miles later. As frustrating as it was to be constantly stopping to fix the tyre, it's hard to feel too down when you're cycling through the mountains.
Today has definitely been a lesson learned. It's so easy to get wrapped up in just trying to get through every day, trying your best to experience the place you're traveling through and make the absolute most of it, that you just forget to do the absolute basics. If I just at some point checked my tyre, or if I just had some spare sealant, none of this would be happening. I've now got a lot more holes in the tyre, maybe 10 to 15 tiny little ones. So I think I'm just going to try and get to this next town, get some more super glue, get myself a room in a motel, and do my best to fix it so I can make the final miles tomorrow. As much as it's been an incredibly frustrating day, it's also been very beautiful and a lot of fun at times. So it's hard to really complain too much.
I spent the night in the first motel I could find, and in the morning I learned that there was no chance I could ride the final 40 miles to Aguas Calientes. After having no luck hitchhiking, I rode a few miles into a town where I managed to find a bike repair shop. They found an old tyre with some sealant in it, and it was just enough to get me to the next bike shop.
The guy there was really excited about my bike and my trip and was taking photos of me with the bike, and I tried to pay after and he just would not let me. It's just so generous. It's amazing in Mexico the lengths people will go to help you. If you go and ask people with a big smile on your face to help you with a problem, they'll just keep working at it until they figure it out. It's great. Just been riding along the highway here, nothing too exciting. And then some guy pulled over in his car to give me a medal and a very brightly coloured pair of socks. It's just so random, but yeah, it was a lovely guy. Been climbing for about an hour and a half now. I'm almost at the top, and then it's mostly downhill and flat the rest of the way into Aguas Calientes. And yeah, I'll head straight to the bike shop and get myself some more sealant. In Aguas Calientes, I paid a visit to the bike shop and the tyre was all good again. I planned for an early start the next morning, but after discovering an issue with my cranks, I had to wait for the bike shop to open, leaving me not much time to ride a lot of miles.
I feel like I've had a bit too much luxury the last few nights staying in these hotels, and I'm already finding myself craving a night's sleep, breathing in fresh air. But it's proving a little more difficult to wild camp than what I'm used to, and so now I'm trying to be more intentional about planning where I'm going to get to each night if I want to wild camp. I'm always a little conflicted about doing this, as I worry if I make these plans I may close myself off to other experiences. But the reality is, if I don't, I may find myself in a hotel room once again, and that's not really ideal. So for tonight, I found a lake about 60 miles away where I should be okay to camp.
With over 5,000 feet of climbing to do on what was expected to be the hottest day of my trip so far, an early start was very much needed.
Made it to the top. So on the other side of this mountain here is Guanajuato City, where I'm staying tonight. So I've just got to climb about 2,000 feet to the top, where there's this giant shrine of Jesus Christ. And it's 36 degrees right now. With the sun about to set and a long steep descent between me and Guanajuato, I had no time to stick around. And that is where I need to get down to. But as it began to get dark, I quickly realised Guanajuato City was going to have to wait until the morning.
I ended up stopping here for the night because it got dark just as I was about to start a very steep and long descent, so I thought it'd be safer to spend the night up here. Plus, I've managed to find a really beautiful place to cowboy camp. And now I get to enjoy the descent in the daylight and make my way into the city.
The descent was beautiful until I found myself passing through a dump. Oh, gross. But I was soon at the bottom, which just left me some easy riding into Guanajuato City, where I'd have some time off the bike to rest.